Okay, welcome back with 3rd Winchester. We're up to the 4 p.m. turn, 1600. Take a look at the statuses here for both the Union and the Confederates. The Confederates have added a few more routed and destroyed units here, as you can see towards the bottom of the screen. Same with the Union, a few more routed up there for Getty and Wilson over there as well. So this is where we're kind of at with everything. The victory points still stand at 29 to 10. Confederates picked up a couple for some losses I'll talk about here in a moment. But basically, we've got all our forces on the board. Our status cards are pretty clear, other than the dismounted units that we'll keep over here, and the same thing over here. So all units are in play at the moment. So let's go over and actually take a look at the board and show you what it looks like. I'll first start with the AM track. I'd like to try to show this to you and show you the dispersion of the AMs. Pretty random. A few bursts here and there of Union and Confederate AMs, but pretty random. A little bit fewer this turn, just because we had some less EMs that came out for the Union units here. So now let's actually turn you with the magic of turning the camera, and here we now show what our board looks like. So looking at the Union side here first, we're looking at the canyon over here. We still have a lot of units coming on the canyon. You can see off board here, I still have a string. All of Kirk's units need to come on the board. They will probably come on this next turn as the rest of Dwight's units get on the board with Emory. In fact, Sheridan has repositioned over here so he can guide Emory a little bit better and give him some EM capabilities to get more AMs. Because unfortunately, Emory only picked up 1 AM last turn, so that made it very slow for them to get on to the board over here, and hence you see the logjam issues over here as well. Grover up here did get into a little bit of firefight. I think you saw in the last turn as well. It did get into a little bit of firefight up here, right up in this these woods over here, with Patton's units from Wharton's division. They were getting the best of it. You can see they're still disordered down here as well. They've got to recover. But the bigger thing is that the cavalry came in, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, and that forced Patton to abandon his position over there. But I got ahead of myself here a little bit. Let's go back to the middle here. Take a look at the 6th Corps. And I apologize for the glare here. I will try to angle ourselves a little bit to try to get that out of there. There we go. So with with Wright's Corps, 6th Corps here, they have been holding the center line here. Ricketts units, both Emerson and Kiefer, have moved up, but they are being blocked by Rhodes' division, who's come up over here. Rhodes is kind of just playing a blocking position. They would really love to attack, but given the situation going around them, we're kind of holding them off for a minute. In fact, part of them, Battle's brigade, is actually moving back to help with something that's happening to the northwest. To the excuse me. In the center here, we have Gordon's units, unfortunately, in a position that they've had to pull out of the first woods over here with who is it? Russell. With Russell's attack, that has pushed them out, and you can see Upton, and then we have Campbell, and then we have the other one here. I can't find him, but the other one over here as well, pushing really hard to get them out of there. Meanwhile, Getty has taken kind of a reserve position over here. Bidwell holding off here with some of his units, but Wheaton and Wright have come back here, pretty much holding this center position, just because they are in pretty rough shape. As I said before, with Ricketts' division, they're positioned here. They'd like to attack over here, but Rhodes is in a good blocking position, and a little bit of miscommunications with command restricted their movements for this past turn here as well. But to the south, and let me go around. To the south here, the Union has been able to move Wilson's cavalry down and basically just streaming them down here to go for the victory hex over in the corner, which I'll show you in a minute. Jackson has been over here, but we've also got Wickham's cavalry moving down here to do something. I don't know what. They may try to charge them as they're strung out here along the march, but you can see Wilson has a pretty good run at this. Even though he's out of command, he should be able to get 1 or 2 activations per turn. Over the course of the next 3 turns, he should probably be able to get down through here, across the Millwood Pike, and then eventually over to this victory hex over here. That would give the Union a 2 shift in the victory conditions for them as part of it here. So this is what's been happening down south here. It's really going to be a tough situation. Really, the whole situation is just on the verge of being kind of a breakout for the Union. Its real constraint right now is, getting the rest of these units over there on the board and getting the rest of Emory in position up there to do something, doing something meaningful to slice down within there as well. So the Confederates have a really tough position, as I highlighted here. We're now looking from south to north. We've got Rhodes here blocking as much as they can. We've got Gordon, who's really almost to the point of being wrecked, having to fall back. We've got back over here the rest of Ramseurs manning the earthworks over here. Fort Collier is still open. We've got the rest of the cavalry here manning Fort Jackson and the Star Fort up there to the north. Bigger thing is way up to the north over here, which I alluded to even more, is the cavalry action up here. So let me reposition myself, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, we're back here looking at the northern part of the field. I'm looking actually west to east here. So there's the canyon and the Union reinforcements over there, our AMs. We've got Winchester to the south over here, and the forts over here as well that we were just looking at. So what has happened over here? The biggest thing, if I zoom you in just a little bit here, Averill's troops coming down the Winchester Potomac Railroad line of attack was able to charge Ferguson's cavalry that was blocking here. That was actually Powell right here. Their units charged over here and created quite the breakthrough. They pushed Ferguson's units back over here. They knocked back these units. These are other Ferguson units over here that Lomax is trying to rally over here, all the way back through here with this cavalry charge. Basically broke them out over here. Then, in a classic move, Schumacher has his entire brigade able to pour through this gap in between there. You got to remember that over here, where Patton was up here. And over here with the rest of Wharton's units, they were clustered around here. So once this breakthrough occurred, there was nobody behind them to take up the defense. So consequently, what's happened is that Wharton's units have had to bend back. Bean over here has come across to help defend here, because Shoemaker, just a devastating set of numbers on there if you look at them really quick. 10 factor, they're using Sharp's carbines, and they're just riding straight behind the Confederate lines, heading straight for the breastworks and Fort Collier down below here. So they're in a very good position to actually break through and do some damage. Meanwhile, the big issue for the Confederates is trying to evacuate Wharton's units out of here and the artillery, because they're slowly being surrounded by the rest of Tobert's cavalry corps. which is Lowell, Devon, and Custer over here. This could have been far worse for the Confederates because Custer really is kind of having a bad day in this play because he failed to change orders twice. Even though he's a +1 in his activation and aggressive, he failed. One time he did get to change. They charged, but the cavalry pulled back. That's why we have this little bubble right over here. Merritt was successful to push back some of Wharton's troops that were still up there, and then Lowell's troops is just positioned here to cordon them off and push on them and keep them locked over there as well. But it's a very tough situation here for the Confederates. They just don't have enough troops here. We do have some positioned here along this stone wall. Hopefully that's going to be enough to deter them from attacking, but I think the real effort is going to be going for the Valley Pike and the railroad over here. So we may need to reposition them there as well. But that's the real big action with a big cavalry charge, like I said, right over in this general area that has freed up everything. That's actually freed up Emory's troops as well. Grover, they'll be able to push through as long as they get some good AMs. They'll be able to push down, hopefully into like Second Woods and down across South Woods and towards Winchester itself over there. So quite the battle developing. This was the 3 p.m. turn of 3rd Winchester. So having a real good time with this. We've got 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 3 more turns with this. So it's still pretty open, but it's getting a little tough for the Confederates in terms of their ability to defend or hold out much longer. I'm thinking there's going to have to be some pullback, particularly in the center with Gordon and maybe even Rhodes eventually here, but they'll have to position back to defend the forts at this particular juncture because there is just so much Union infantry and cavalry pouring in from the north and eventually the south, because as I said, these units of Crook, his Army of West Virginia, once they get on the board, we're going to try to pour them south to follow Wilson and get down into the south of Winchester here and try to surround them. So it should be very interesting. Hopefully you're enjoying all of this. Apologies for the glare here. I got too many lights on today. Please like us. Please subscribe and also leave a comment. So thank you very much.
Okay, welcome back. We're up to 5 p.m. turn. So taking a look at where we stand with the units and eliminated, routed, and everything else. You can see Confederates have a lot of eliminated units down here. Everything, cavalry, artillery, infantry, whole 9 yards, a good bit routed. Union has been about the same. They've lost some steps, but nothing is really routed or been destroyed these past couple turns here because the Confederates are getting weaker and weaker very fast. And it's also becoming a foot race a little bit, and I'll show you that later. But just to show you here, victory points where we are now is Union is at 32. Confederate is at 14, 32 to 14 at the moment. Still well away from the minimum for Union victory condition. So that's why it's becoming a foot race over here as well. So let me take you over to the board and you can see the whole act. Okay, here we are over at the board and we're looking at, again, the Union entry. We'll start over here and I'll kind of move all the way around this time because there's so much action going on here. Excuse glare if I do get glare on there, but we'll get them back. I want to start with here because you can see a number of the Union reinforcements that were scheduled 3 hours ago are still trying to get on the board. The traffic jam is horrendous here, and I haven't figured out a good way around it. These past couple of turns, particularly Emory, has been really underperforming. He's sitting right there. right over there, has been underperforming, only getting 1 AMs with both Dwight and Grover divisions, and really been stuck on the road. You can see Grover over here really being stuck on the road, barely getting up to Huntswood over there, and turning the corner to attack. As well as Upton, you can see Upton, who came through First Woods back here, all the way from Berryville Road. You can see he's all the way up to where the beginning elements of Grover's units have reached here. And actually, he's one that started pushing back the Confederate cavalry that's sitting out there. Coming back across here, looking back at our center of the board, and I'll try to cut the glare out over here. You can see the First Woods is pretty much cleared. Gordon's division has been shattered. They're retreating through Second Wood or South Woods over there, with Russell's two other divisions. Edwards and Campbell are pushing him up over there. Meanwhile, Bidwell from Getty's division is regrouped and can still press the attack. Warner is kind of supporting him, but he's brigade combat ineffective. And Wheaton is pretty much out of the action over here as well. Let's progress around to the north here. Hopefully I can get rid of some of the glare on this from the light by turning around here. So moving around to the north, there we see Grover's units. And now as we come over here and pan over, we see, still got a little bit of glare here. Let me continue to move around here a little bit and move this way and move this back just a hair. Okay, so we can see over here the cavalry under Tobert and Merritt's division particularly have just struck right down here. Finally, Custer has finally got his action straight, and he is pushing through, and Devon is pushing Smith's cavalry off to the side and pushing a wedge down in here, because the biggest thing at this turn was the fact that Schumacher, his cavalry has dashed down and taken Fort Collier. They're in a precarious position because Battle from Rhodes's division have come over and started shooting at them in preparation for some sort of assault on them. So it's going to be tough. Now, the one thing they do have a saving grace for is the 8th Ohio is armed with Spencer carbines, and hopefully that can give some extra oomph to them. There is a bit of reinforcements there. They're just out of position. If they get a better position, that'll be good for them. But you see, you've also got Patton's division or brigade moving down and providing some support. So hopefully we get the other cavalry, maybe even some of Emory's troops over here to take some of the pressure off and try to get some of these others, because the Confederates have been trying and succeeding at reinforcing the forts over here. We've got some remnant cavalry units here, here, and here that are holding Fort Jackson and the Star Fort over here as well. And we have the remains of Ramseur's division holding out on the breastworks over there by Smithfield. So all in all, they're in a pretty good position over here to defend. There's 2 turns left now. We're up to the 5 p.m. turn. As I said, there's 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. So it should be a pretty interesting fight over here. You can see on the rear side of the Confederates, over here we've got Rhodes's division holding off the rest of Ricketts. They've been kind of slow. Ricketts has been kind of slow over here in terms of his movement forward, mainly due to disorders and lack of AMs over there as well. Then the other big story is to the south. We've got Wilson's cavalry dashing down the southern end of the board, looking to capture this hex over to the right, which is the Valley Turnpike. I think they can do it. They may need to go into march mode to actually make it. but they may be able to do it. Now, we do have Wickham's 1 Cavalry Brigade that's still in good order, chasing after him. Chapman over there is trying to chase after him, so it's kind of a two-way chase between all three of those units over there as well. So that'll be interesting. If the Union can get this, that will at least get them to a draw, as long as they hold Fort Collier back over here, because this is actually worth 2 shifts, and this is the 3rd shift. And then if the Confederates hold Star Fort, Fort Jackson, and the breastworks, that'll be 3 shifts for them. So that will negate all the shifts, and then it just comes to victory points. But victory points, I doubt if the Union is going to get up to the required 50 to win, but you never know, and we'll see how it goes from there. So very exciting so far. Biggest thing, as I said, is that big traffic jam over there for the Union. Haven't figured out a way to get them on the board efficiently, particularly when the AMs don't agree for 2 turns in a row. Also, other things that I'm working on is best defense for the Confederates. Gordon's division right here is smashed. Ramseur's division here is smashed. Rhodes is all by himself, and Wharton is all by himself over here, threatening to be surrounded. Confederate cavalry, not that effective, mainly just blocks. Union cavalry is extremely effective with their Sharps carbines and higher cohesion to be able to attack and push through there. But Confederates are not, and they really become speed bumps. And enough of those will slow down the Union troops, but obviously you can see they can't stop them as they broke through over here. So lots of good stuff here. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos, and please like us, like the videos, and leave a comment if you're so inclined. Please subscribe, because there'll be more of these coming through. We're getting down to the end of this one, but there'll be more coming along here soon enough. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.